Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie. I am a home daycare provider in Ohio, and today's video is a collaboration video. I'm excited to be collaborating with Ashley from the Coello Family Vlogs. Hi Ash. And we are going to go over our parent handbook for our in-home daycares. Now I'm very excited to see the differences. I'm in Ohio, she's in Florida, and she's been doing this a lot longer than I have. Go Ash. I've only been doing it since like June of 2018, so just a little over a year, and I believe she's been doing this for about 5, 6, 7 years, so she definitely has more experience in this than I do. I've already revamped my handbook one time this past July, so pretty much my 1-year anniversary. I updated my handbook. There were a lot of things that I needed to reword, that I wanted to change for time purposes, for money purposes, just in general. There's things that you learn definitely your first year of being an in-home daycare provider, and I wanted to make sure that my handbook represented everything that I wanted it to be. So I'm going to show you what my handbook looks like. Now, I pass out my handbook when I have all new enrollees in this white plain folder. I get this from Target at the end of the school season, so like mid to late August. They usually go on clearance for like 5-10 cents each, and I just stock up. So inside I put my parent handbook on one side, then I put all of the different enrollment forms on this side. I'll do a separate video on all the actual folder that I do, but today's video, like I said, is just going over the parent handbook. Now, the cover of it, I just simply found this font on Google, and this is kind of what I've used. I don't have the rights to it. Hopefully I don't get in trouble by doing it on this video, but yeah, this is what I do, and I just put my actual name down here, and then this is for 2019-2020. Okay, the first page I go over is enrollment, my deposit, adjustment period, termination, my hours, my tuition, and my arrival and departures. So I accept children 12 weeks to 5 years of age, and I do before and after school care. This is my first year doing this. Last school year I did not have any school agers. I simply only had on my first summer that I was open, and I'm not sure next year if I will continue school agers or not. Right now I only have one boy, and it's a little bit of an inconvenience just because I have my sister here. We have to take him to the bus about an hour after I open, hour and a half after I open, and then it just leaves one of us here with the children. Usually whoever takes him down will take like 3, 4, 5 children with us, the ones that are walking. But I don't know, in the rainy days and winter coming up in Ohio last year, we had a lot of snowy days. We'll see how this year goes, and that'll determine whether or not I keep him next year. I do require a 1-week deposit that will go towards their last week of childcare, as long as they give 2 weeks notice. If they do not give 2 weeks notice, that 1-week deposit is forfeited. One of the things I would do different in the future with accepting future children, like when I first started, I had 3 families that were all pregnant and that weren't enrolling for I think like 4, 5, 6 months down the road, and I should have charged them the initial deposit, the 1 week, and I should have charged them a monthly fee to hold their spot, because I really did kind of screw myself financially by holding those spots when they could have been filled with other children. So like I said, that's definitely something that I'll change next time if I ever get in a situation again where I have an infant enrolling. Other than that, it's just a 1-week deposit, and I do have the parents pay a week ahead, so they pay on Fridays for the following week daycare. I do give a 30-day trial adjustment period for both myself and the families to see how that's going. I haven't had to terminate care for anyone. They've all stayed with me. Termination, I try to give the parents at least a 2-week notice. I've only had to terminate 1 child, and that was for repetitive non-payment. And so other than that, I haven't had to terminate care. My hours of operation, I am open from 7 to 5:30. Now, originally I was open 6:30 to 6, and those are long days. Even 7 to 5:30 is a long day, but I was finding that I wasn't having any families come before 7, so that was an easy adjustment to change that time. And I went from 5:30 to 6 because, again, I only had one family that was coming after 5:30 pretty much, And the problem was they started coming at 6:05, 6:10, 6:15. And so I said, you know what, I'm switching it to 5:30. And they started coming later again, 5:35, 5:40. So in a little bit, I'll get into what I did with that situation. Tuition, I accept full and part-time. Part-time is a minimum of 3 days a week. I let the parents know that if you're part-time and you only come 1 day that week, you are still responsible for the 3 days of care. I say it's full-time. You know, full-time is 4 and 5 days. If you only come 3 days, it's still full-time pay. I have the parents pay on Fridays. Like I said, I have a no pay, no play policy. So if they don't make the payments, then they do not, they can't come the next week. And this is where I had to terminate that family because they started getting 1, 2, 3 weeks behind, and then they would catch up, and then they would get behind again, and I kept giving them notice, and I went on a trial period, and they were still continuously late. It is actually very confusing when that happens to do payroll, not payroll, but like my invoices for the families, because I'm like, did they pay for this week? Did they not? It got to be too much of a mess, and I just had to terminate care. So that's pretty much it for the first page. My second page, I just go over religious holidays, sick days, vacations, parent vacations, attendance, and open door policy. I do take off all major holidays. If the holiday falls on a Saturday, I take off on Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, I will take off on Monday. I am closed the eve, so like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and I'm closed the day after Thanksgiving as well. I take 5 personal / sick days a year, and those could be used for like being sick or doing any kind of like classes like CPR classes, any kind of training. Now that I have 2 assistants, it's really not that, I really don't have to take the time off because I can always have 2 people here. And if one of them needs a day off, it's okay because there's still 2 out of the 3 of us here. Vacations, I do allow myself 2 weeks paid vacation. It is the week of Christmas and a week in July. So now this past year, it was just me and my sister, so it worked out where she took the same week in July off as I did. If it came down to it where she wanted a different week, I would definitely give her a different week. I'll just ask that Christmas is one of her weeks. I do pay her for vacation as well. The parents' vacation, they get 1 week at half price. And I had to change this in my original handbook. I had it listed like parents after, you know, get 1 week vacation at half price, and after 5 days it will go to, you know, on the 6th day it would be full pay. But I think parents were reading it as they could take as many weeks off as they want, as, you know, but it was only going to be half pay. So I had families taking 2, 3 weeks of vacation, and each time I was getting screwed over and only getting half pay. So now I make it known that you get 1 week, and then if you have any additional weeks, it's full pay for those. It's only half pay for the first 5 days. So if some parents don't take a vacation and they do long weekends, say they do 5 long weekends, they do 5 Fridays, that Friday of each week would only be half pay. Attendance, again, it's, you know, you're paying for your child's space. It doesn't matter if they come or not. I definitely have an open door policy. Parents are welcome to come at any times. I don't have cameras in my home. That may be something I do in the future, but right now I don't. So the parents, you know, they can come and go as they please. Moving on to my third page is behavioral management, cleanliness, and diaper changing. So behavior management, I definitely, you know, I try reinforcement in a positive way, redirection, timeout, and then the last resort is I would call the child's family. I did have an episode recently with biting with one of the infants, and then a second infant started biting. It is really hard with infants because they don't understand timeout. They don't, you know, you tell them not to bite, they're still going to do it. The mother brought like a teething like necklace. That seemed to help a little bit, but my sister and I decided, you know what, let's give the attention to the child who's actually bit, not concentrate as much on the child biting. That way they're not getting that attention if that's what they were seeking. But knock on wood, it's actually subsided right now. For the older children, if, you know, I have a couple toddlers who, you know, they say terrible twos, I definitely do redirection. I'll have them sit, you know, by themselves for a minute or two. It's tough. You know, I have a young group. I only have 1 3-year-old. Everyone else is under that. And so it gets a little hectic around here. As far as cleanliness, I clean all the toys on a weekly basis, either by spraying them down, wiping them down, actually washing them. I do the linens, you know, the bibs, the washcloths daily, stuff like that. I do linens once a week. That's like their blankets, pillows. I provide that. They don't need to bring that from home. My diaper changing policy is I change every 2 to 3 hours unless they have a bowel movement, then they would be changed immediately. The parents are only responsible to bring in the diapers. I provide wipes, the cream, and the parents would just, you know, bring extra clothes. My next page is toilet training, dressing for play, meals, snacks, and supplies needed at daycare. So toilet training, I've only had to train one child so far because the 3-year-old came potty trained. She was only wearing pull-up at nap time. And then the only child actually that I've had to potty train, she was pretty much ready to be potty trained. They had worked with her for several weeks at home, is what I ask of the parents to do. And then they're free to bring in as many change of clothes as they want, if they want to do pull-ups or not pull-ups, but I have to know that they are being potty trained at home first. I do have like little baby potties that I have here, and I have like stools for the ones that want to use, you know, a bigger toilet or whatnot, but I'm not going to start that process here. They have to do it at home. Dressing for play, I let the parents know that we do arts and craft. We are outside. I try to keep the children as neat as possible, but accidents happen. You know, the babies, I put bibs on them, they rip them off, they touch their clothes. If I have enough laundry, I will do laundry once a day, because I don't like sending the children home dirty, but I emphasize to the parents, don't bring their Sunday best here. You know, they don't want to be responsible for that. Meals and snacks. We have 2 snacks, one at 10 a.m., one at 3 p.m. Both of those I serve with water. I have breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I serve with milk. I have lunch around 11:30, which again is served with milk. I do a weekly menu and send home with the parents. If the child has any special request or any special like diet, the parents need to bring that in. Because what I make is what I make. Like I said, that's why I give the menu for the parents. I can't be making like 10 different meals. And then last on this page is supply for daycare. Like I said, I supply the wipes, Kleenex, creams. The parents simply just need to bring in a change of clothes and diapers. And then I send home a little sheet each season on like suggestions of things to bring. So obviously like in the winter they have to have like boots and a hat and scarf, otherwise they can't go out. Gloves. But like in the springtime, a light jacket, you know, summertime shorts, bathing suits, and then I send home the clothing with them at the end of the season or when they outgrow them. I just went through my bins a couple of weeks ago and pretty much emptied all of it because the kids have grown so much. The next page is nap and quiet time, learning and fun, TV, toys, and pets. So for nap time, the children lay down around 12. I get them up at 2:30. And for the infants, whatever schedule they're on at home, I initially accommodate that, and then I gradually put them in this 12 to 2:30 slot, which is worked out. The children sleep in cribs, pack and plays. The older ones transition to cots. Learning and fun, I let the parents know, you know, my motto is learn to play. I think children learn best through that. If I had an older group, I would do definitely a more dedicated preschool, but with having such a younger group, I try to have materials and supplies that are geared towards younger kids where they can still learn their colors, their shapes, their numbers. Like I said, I love doing arts and craft with them. We do very little worksheets. We do a lot of like painting and chalk and watercolor, crayons, markers. I've never introduced scissors to them because they're all too young, even though I have them. We work with glue sticks. So that's pretty much for that. TV, I only have the TV on in the morning from like 7 to 7:30, and then when we start having a bigger group, we come downstairs and the babies stay upstairs with me, and then in the evening from 5 to 5:30 as we're winding down. Once in a while we'll watch a movie, but basically, you know, the TV is off. As far as toys, I have like a million toys, let's be real. I have a whole room dedicated to toys. I overbuy in toys, but I try to mix things up. I try to introduce new things to the children so that their imagination can wander in different directions. If a child breaks a toy, I just replace it. I'm not going to ask the parents to pay for it, or, it is what it is. It's part of being a daycare provider. Pets, luckily all my families are pet owners, all of them except one, I believe. I let them know up front. I have 2 dogs and a cat. They're not going anywhere. So if you have any allergies, this is not the daycare for you. My animals are fantastic around children. I have rescue animals, so I feel like they're just grateful to be in an environment, and I am so attached to them that like I said, if the family has an issue with the pets, and this isn't the daycare for them. One of the last pages is illness and medication, and medical and dental emergency procedures. So as far as illness, if a child has a fever over 100, if they have multiple bouts of diarrhea, if they're vomiting, pink eye, asthma flare-up, anything like that, the child will be sent home. I will quarantine them here, put them, in their own little space, and then the children must be picked up within an hour. I do not allow parents to drop off their child sick. That's a no-no. Medication, since I am a nurse, I do feel comfortable with giving medication. I have a little boy with an EpiPen. Again, knock on wood, we've never had to use it, but he does have it for allergies. If a child is on an antibiotic, as long as it's been over 24 hours, I will administer that. My medical and dental emergency procedures, I have, all the emergency numbers kept in my phone. I have them kept in their files. I have a little packet that I take with us when we go on walks. I put it in our bag in case I need to get a hold of a parent. If it comes down to it, if I had to call 911, I would do that. My sister would call the parents. My other assistant would call the parents. The child will be immediately treated, separated. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. And then my last page is signing in and out, child abuse and reporting, photos, and then just a final note. So for signing in and out, I do have a manual paper that they sign in and out, and I keep record of that. It just helps me keep like a head count, who was here that week, who wasn't. And then I use Baby Connect for all of my parent communication, so I sign them in and out of that as well. Child abuse, if I ever suspected any kind of child abuse, I would immediately report it. My interest is the child is my best interest. So photos, I have the parents sign a photo release. I do have a private Facebook that the parents go on, so I definitely show or post like 1 million pictures a week on that. Let's see what else. I usually don't use the child's name. Even like the families know that I do this channel, that I have the children on this channel, but I don't know if I've ever shown any of their faces. I really do not want to do that. I don't call them by their names. Let's see. I like to do photos because I like to do a lot of firsts. We have the 3 little babies who are just now walking, and so we take a lot of videos, we post them. The parents are all excited. We have a pretty close group. Like I said, I've had most of these families from day 1, so the kids have all grown up together. And then a final note, I just want to make sure that the parents are comfortable with my policies, that they understand my policies. I do have them sign handbook acceptance. I give them a copy, I keep a copy. That way, we're all adults. I would assume that they've read everything word for word. I do not go over it initially when I meet with them word for word. I do highlight things, but they have to understand that, this is where I'm coming from. These are things that I think will work best for my business, for their child. I'm always open to suggestions. I have an open communication with them. Let's see, what else? That's it. So then I have them sign it. This handbook may be long to some, it may be short to others. I think I've covered everything, that I wanted the parents to know in this handbook. Who knows, maybe come this July, I'll change it again. But for right now, this is what we have, and this seems to be working out. I've never had someone say, oh, but in your handbook, this, and this. I feel like I'm pretty upfront with the parents, and my program is pretty self-explanatory to them. So I hope you like this video. I hope you can take away bits and pieces. Let me know down in the comments if I'm missing anything, if you have anything different in your handbook. Like I said, this is a collaboration, so I'm very excited to see Ashley's video, to see what she does different. Maybe in Florida there's different, you know, rules or regulations. I'm in Ohio. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so, and I will catch you in my next video.